So blessed to be with you on the KIDO Talk Radio app and KIDO Talk Radio 107.5 FM, 580 AM, and of course on our website. So many ways to get us. Do appreciate you supporting this project. We continue to roll on, and our support continues to grow. We've got people calling in from Nevada now. We'll get to Harvey in a minute. We'll get to more of your phone calls. If you're just tuning in, some of our top stories. The president must release his tax returns to appear on the ballot in California. We'll see if that percolates through the courts. You have the mayor's campaign war chest spending $1,000 to oppose the library issue, which basically allows voters to vote on the proposed money it would take to build the new library and the new stadium. Tough if you live in Boise or do business in Boise. If you live anywhere else, another reason you are thankful that you don't live in the city of Boise. Also, it's kind of strange. You look at the cover of the Statesman today, and you have the top story, Beater campaigns, $1,000 went to oppose library issue. And then you've got the dog park. And as I say, Mayor Dave Beater, he has not met a ribbon cutting that he doesn't like, with his arms up in the air and all the doggies running around. Coming up as well, a push to deny scholarships to DACA students could be percolating, according to the Idaho Statesman and according to the Idaho Freedom Foundation and everybody else. But we'll get to that. Let's get to your phone calls. By the way, if you're just tuning in, Marianne Williamson is making a lot of news. In addition to that, this is on the Kevin Miller Show Facebook page. She's leading a prayer for white people, apologizing for being white. If you're just tuning in, here's a sample.
Please forgive us.
Well, first of all, the government should never have made the deal with the big pharma that they couldn't negotiate.
And that's more of her. Let's go back to it.
I'm going to ask the white Americans in the room to please repeat after me.
You don't have to repeat after her.
On behalf of myself and on behalf of my country. To you and all African Americans. From the beginning of our nation's history. In honor of your ancestors and on behalf of your children. Please hear this from my heart. I apologize. Please forgive us.
And plus, she's looking at $500 billion in reparations. Is this a realistic presidential platform? Or is this just another divisive issue to pull Americans apart? Pro-Life, whose favorite radio station is KIDO Talk Radio. Good morning, sir. Hello, Pro-Life. Pro-Life? Harvey in McDermott, Nevada. Good morning. You're on KIDO Talk Radio. Well, isn't this embarrassing? Harvey, please hang on. We'll get back to everybody else who's calling in right now. At 580-5436, 580-KIDO, Kevin Miller in the morning here. So we have Marianne Williamson making the case, making the pitch, that America needs to apologize. Is this not racism? Is this not something horrible going on right now? How in the world can you explain to your kids what's happening here? How in the world can you explain to anybody what's going on? Folks, this is not bringing America together. By the way, if you were doing something, maybe going for a walk last night, maybe going for a hike, I don't know, what other things you do in the heat, and you missed the big debate last night, we have those for you right now. But going back to Miss Williamson and how in the world anybody could justify this. It is simply crazy. It is simply crazy. I don't know how to put it into words. I don't know how to put that into words. Do you?
I have had it with a president that says one thing on TV that has your back, and then you get home and you see those charges for prescription drugs and cable and college.
If we embrace a far-left agenda, they're going to say we're a bunch of crazy socialists. If we embrace a conservative agenda, you know what they're going to do? They're going to say we're a bunch of crazy socialists.
This is an example of wish list economics. It used to be just Republicans who wanted to repeal and replace. Now many Democrats do as well.
Second of all, maybe you did that and made money off of health care, but our job is to run a nonprofit health care system.
We are not about trying to take away health care from anyone. That's what the Republicans are trying to do.
This is the left and right thing. New and better is this. Move Medicare down to 50. Allow people to buy in.
You know, I don't understand why anybody goes to all the trouble of running for president of the United States just to talk about what we really can't do and shouldn't fight for.
You're wrong.
All right. Thank you very much, Bernie Sanders. We've got the phones working now. Harvey in McDermott, Nevada on KIDO Talk Radio. Harvey, sorry about that. Good morning.
Good morning. How you doing?
Not bad. Good to have you calling in from Nevada, sir.
So, my thing is, I'm a black American. If they gave me 40 acres and a mule, I'd be pissed. That would be the biggest slap in the face. The Bible does not say that other people have to pay for their parents' mistakes. We just don't make any more new mistakes.
What do you
Does
make?
that make any sense?
It does. I just don't understand. Reparations has been talked about for years. We have people, from your perspective as a black American, when you hear the apology, the people praying, apologizing for being white, what goes on in your mind?
They're on crack or something. This is the dumbest thing I've ever seen. They've never done anything to me. They've never done anything to any of the black Americans in the United States. This is what goes in my head. You give 40 acres and a mule, and 80% of black America, they won't know what to do with it. They'll sell it. Does that make any sense?
It will, but I guess it's supposed to make everybody feel better for what happened. And then you have to wonder, how do you determine who came here through the slaves and who didn't?
Well, exactly, because my family, none of them were slaves.
Harvey, appreciate the call. Anything else, brother?
No, I think you're doing a great job. I think I am a solid Trump supporter, and I pray Donald Trump wins this thing in 2020.
You're not alone. Thank you, Harvey.
No problem. Thank you.
Cliff in Boise with Kevin Miller, KIDO Talk Radio. Good morning, Cliff.
Good morning, Kevin. Hey, Kevin, thanks for the forum here. First of all, I'm Jewish. How far back do we go with who's been insulted, who's been enslaved? It's time to just move on as a country. Williamson, that wasn't a prayer. First of all, I'm a retired pastor, and it irritates me when pastors or anybody does a supposed prayer that's nothing more than a speech. And that's all that was, and it was pandering.
What do you make of the Democrats, though? I believe all of them, Cliff, saying they're going to look into reparations when this has been talked about for years. It's not going anywhere. You heard Harvey saying he'd be insulted. What's the deal? What are they thinking?
Well, the Democratic Party is an insult. Everything they do is nothing but pandering because they've got no policies. They've got no answer except we hate Trump and we want to make everybody feel guilty. It's ridiculous. President Lincoln ended slavery. Let's move on. It's time for everybody just to grow up and I've got a special needs daughter, and if she heard this, she would kill me. But she has a shirt that says, "Put your big girl boots up and get in and get on." And that's it's time for us to do that as a nation. President Trump isn't dividing us. This is the kind of garbage that actually divides us. It's mostly make us feel guilty. My family never owned slaves. Nobody in my family ever owned slaves. And first of all, let's get honest. It was blacks who sold other blacks into slavery. That's just a fact. But we don't want to confuse anybody with the facts. Do we, Kevin?
Well, there was a great article many years about that, about the Swahilis selling their own people, and it was in the Manchester Union Leader, a paper in New Hampshire, where they said, look, when you hear all these names, you're actually honoring the people that sold their brothers and sisters and people from other tribes into slavery. Yep. You're right. Yeah, you're right, Cliff.
And here's some irony I'm going to throw at you this morning. Barack Obama's family sold slaves. Maybe their family sold Michelle Obama's family into slavery. How's that for some irony? Oh, but let's not talk about that. And I don't mean to make light of it,
right?
But it is time to move on.
It is.
Thank you.
And before you go, the thing that really concerns me is you have a lot of young, impressionable people that lack the critical thinking skills to say, this is wrong. Instead, they would go, well, yeah, it makes sense. No, it doesn't make sense.
Well, hey, I'm going to do something. Back to President Trump's rally back, I think, in North Carolina, and the crowd has started saying, send her back, send her back. That is the kind of stuff that winds up happening with groupthink. And first of all, it was a reaction to Omar and her garbage. And I see what I call white lash, where a lot of whites are getting sick and tired of having to apologize for being white. And they're not against anybody, but they're sick and tired of being told to sit back and feel guilty. And it's time for us to be a nation of people who are proud of where we've come from, proud of who we are, but respectful of each other. And that was not respectful last night. I didn't watch it. I wouldn't watch it. I wouldn't waste my time. And I'm going to give you a real quick estimate of all the Democratic candidates. It's Dumb and Dumber. Have a great day, Kevin.
Thank you, Cliff. Take care.
Bye.
Steve in Meridian with Kevin Miller, KIDO Talk Radio.
Hey, good morning, Kevin. How are you?
Hey, great to hear from you, Steve. And you?
You too. Hey, the reparations drama and the Democrats' promotions of such a crazy idea is laughable. It's really sad because whether you're white or black, you've just got to feel insulted as a human being who should know that you can't change your color of your skin and you can't go back in time and apologize for your great-grandparents and what they may or may not have done. And I believe, guess what color skin I am? I'm blue. I'm purple. I'm green. I mean, does it really matter? Because no matter what circumstances you find yourself in this world, you can either be a victim and give a bunch of excuses why you're poor and weak and sad, or you can believe and make something of this life. Do something worthwhile to help other people. And that's really what it comes down to. And I think the only honest thing any of these Democratic candidates could do, if they really had a sound mind and were honest, they would drop out of the race and say, you know what? President Trump is a better leader than I am, and I'm going to support him. Let's get united behind one person instead of causing drama. That's the only thing that I think they should do. What do you think about that, Kevin?
Well, I love it. And again, it's time that we all come together as Americans, not hyphenated Americans, Steve.
Exactly. And let's be honest, man, every single person, no matter who you are, where you're from, the bottom line is every race and ethnicity has had somebody in their past that's been troubled. But this whole racism card that people play excessively is really a direct attack on the Bible, because the bottom line is it doesn't matter who you are, where you're from, what color your skin is. If you want to believe and apply principles in life and live a righteous life, you can do so. Or you could buy into the world's mentality to look at the past to give excuses as to why you need handouts and somebody else to do something for you in life. And so it's a shame that there's so much immaturity, but there's nothing new. There's nothing new. It's the same old topic that resurfaces every generation, and we have to deal with it right now in this generation to remind people it's not the color of your skin, it's the content of your character. I think there's a famous guy that once said something like that, right?
Correct.
Why don't people believe that, So thanks, Kevin.
Thank you for listening, Steve. Take care.
Have a good one, buddy.
Later. Bye-bye. More coming up next. Kevin Miller, KIDO Talk Radio. And don't forget, coming up on Friday, a very special broadcast. We will be at the Meridian grand opening of the Stanton Healthcare Center right there on Franklin Road. We'd love for you to stop by. And the grand opening Sunday, the official grand opening, I believe, is at 3 o'clock. We'll be there with a lot of dignitaries. And, of course, we do ask you to support Stanton Healthcare and what they do and what they bring and how they have made a difference not only in the Treasure Valley but across the country and around the world. Easier said than done when you think about that and you think of the issues involved. Let's go to last night's debate.
The heartland. Thank you, Senator Klobuchar. Ms. Williamson, what's your response on the Flint water crisis?
My response on the Flint water crisis is that Flint is just the tip of the iceberg. I was recently in Denmark, South Carolina, where there is a lot of talk about it being the next Flint. We have an administration that has gutted the Clean Water Act. We have communities, particularly communities of color and disadvantaged communities all over this country who are suffering from environmental injustice. I assure you, I lived in Grosse Pointe. What happened in Flint would not have happened in Grosse Pointe. This is part of the dark underbelly of American society. The racism, the bigotry, and the entire conversation that we're having here tonight, if you think any of this wonkiness is going to deal with this dark psychic force of the collectivized hatred that this president is bringing up in this country, then I'm afraid that the Democrats are going to see some very dark days. We need to say it like it is. It's bigger than Flint. It's all over this country. It's particularly people of color. It's particularly people who do not have the money to fight back. And if the Democrats don't start saying it, then why would those people feel that they're there?
I don't know really how you describe it.
Vote for us, and Donald Trump will win.
Thank you very much, Ms.
Talking about Trump being some psychic force or psychotic force, and she's a mainstream Democratic candidate. Yeah, you ever been somewhere at work, at home, family reunion, you're meeting crazy Uncle Pete, and crazy Uncle Pete just says something that's crazy. That's why he's crazy Uncle Pete, and you just go, did he really say that? And you're looking at all the other Democrats going, please don't call on me after her. Please don't let me respond to her last night. Traffic and weather together, KIDO Talk Radio, 107.5 FM, 580 AM. Good morning, Dave.
I'm not angry at anybody. The corruption and the graft in Baltimore is probably the greatest in our country, or one of them. Wait, now, he's in charge of an oversight committee. All I'm saying is take your oversight committee and go to Baltimore. You'll learn a lot.
Take your oversight committee and go to Baltimore. All right, more of your comments next. By the way, this from the Statesman, I guess it's Statesman Day. Emails between the Idaho Freedom Foundation and Idaho Republicans reveal that a push might be made in the 2020 legislative session to ban DACA students from the Opportunity Scholarships, which provide up to $3,500 to eligible Idahoans pursuing an undergraduate degree at an in-state school. In an email earlier this month, Republicans pushed a letter criticizing Boise State's diversity programs. The Idaho Freedom Foundation raised the alarm over several of the same inclusion and diversity initiatives. The possibility that DACA students, so-called dreamers, were brought to the country illegally as children could receive Idaho Opportunity Scholarships featured heavily in the concerns, according to emails obtained via public records request and shared by the Statesman. Ooh, boo-hoo-hoo. Quote, BSU is going to in an increasingly radical direction, wrote Fred Birnbaum, Idaho Freedom Foundation vice president, in a June email to the House Education and Joint Finance Appropriation Committees. I added the underlines below the president's newsletter. Please note that illegal alien students, DACA students, are being invited to apply for opportunity scholarships. Birnbaum was alluding to the monthly newsletter from the interim president, Martin Schmimpf, in June that featured several bulleted items, including one that stated the State Board of Education had invited DACA students to apply. So this one letter sent by this one legislator has ignited something that we've been talking about for years that is the direction of schools and universities in the state of Idaho, which will be a big topic in the next legislative session. How many times have you heard or said people call in and go, Kevin Miller, this is going on? Heck, even the Attorney General of the United States criticized the lack of free speech at Boise State. Let's talk about it next, right? I'd love to get your thoughts on this. DACA students getting scholarships for Idaho kids. Are they Idaho kids? DACA has not been decided yet. 580-5436, 580-KIDO. We could give you the Rudy Pooty Ramby Mamby. How do you feel? That's kind of goofy. Anybody that says, how do you feel? They don't really have an opinion. It comes down to this. Is this the right move? You'll hear what I have to say, and we'll hear what you have to say next. Kevin Miller, KIDO Talk Radio, 107.5 FM, 580 AM. Good morning, Doug. And thank you, Dave Ramsey. Don't forget the KIDO Talk Radio app. It's free. App Store, Google Play. Just type in KIDO Talk Radio, and you can take us anywhere, even to bed. Joining us now, Fox News Radio's John Decker, live from the White House, the very White House, on KIDO Talk Radio. John, good morning.
Good morning to you, Kevin. Hope you're doing well today.
Living the dream. Speaking of which, you've got the president. I don't know how you describe what happened concerning these Virginia Democrats and yesterday's ceremony at Jamestown with President Trump.
Well, this happened yesterday. The president taking a short trip down to Jamestown to make some remarks marking the 400th anniversary of democracy being established in America at Jamestown. And there was a boycott, essentially, of African-American state lawmakers in Virginia who did not show up for this ceremony. One person who did show up was the lieutenant governor of the Commonwealth of Virginia, Lieutenant Governor Fairfax, who is African-American. The president disappointed that there was so much attention focused on a protester who interrupted the president's remarks rather than the remarks themselves. The president came back to the White House shortly after traveling down to Virginia, Kevin. And by the way, yesterday I asked the president who he thinks his likely opponent will be next year, and the president told me his words, Sleepy Joe, referring to Joe Biden, who, of course, will take part in a debate tonight in Detroit, Michigan.
It'll be a challenge for Joe Biden, Sleepy Joe. He's got Senator Harris and Senator Booker. He's in the middle there. John, please correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think we did get the Twitter storm last night during the Democratic debate, or am I wrong about that?
Well, look, I think that for Joe Biden, he needs to have a better performance than the first performance that he hit the stage, in which he was taking some tough criticism coming from Kamala Harris, the junior senator from California. So lots of attention will be on him tonight. The president calls him Sleepy Joe, and, that's the criticism that's been leveled at him regarding his first debate performance, that he really lacked energy. And so that's why we'll be paying a lot of attention to his performance, not only the content, but also the performance that comes out of Detroit tonight.
Anything else on the president's official schedule? Congress is out of session. What will the president be doing in the next 6 weeks?
Well, the president tomorrow night will be traveling to Cincinnati, Ohio. Why Cincinnati? Because that's where a campaign rally will be taking place. It'll be the first campaign rally since the Mueller testimony has concluded, and the president's going to be talking quite a bit about that to his supporters in Cincinnati. So I would expect when we come back in September, the president's going to be taking some time off, about 2 weeks off in August, making one stop, at least right now, one stop in New Hampshire for a campaign rally in August. But I think he's going to hit the ground running. I would not be surprised to see the president hit the road maybe 2 times in the same week when he comes back in September as he gears up for the 2020 campaign.
John Decker, we always appreciate you. Maybe you'll get some downtime there at the White House.
We'll see. We'll see. It's never a dull day, Kevin. I always enjoy it. And I always enjoy talking to you and being on your show. So thank you very much.
Thank you, John. Have a great day, sir.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Well, it's funny when you take a listen to Mr. Decker. It would be great to, like the president, get him here to the Gem State, right? President, another campaign rally. I don't think they'll be saying send her home, right? A story that we first brought you about 20 minutes ago, if you're just tuning in. Story from the Statesman today, where you have a push begins to deny scholarships to the DACA students. Now you have the Idaho Freedom Foundation. You have members of the legislature, the Republicans, getting letters saying Boise State may be offering DACA scholarships to DACA kids here. Now, they're called Opportunity Scholarships for Idaho citizens, Idaho residents. Being the devil's advocate here, if in fact you were brought here illegally, if you've known nothing but the great state of Idaho, shouldn't you be allowed to have these scholarships? Shouldn't you be allowed to compete with everybody else? It's not like they do in California or North Carolina or any of these other states where you have people that are undocumented / illegal getting in-state tuition or sometimes scholarships. That's not the same thing, is it? Going back to that letter sent to us by the Idaho representative from Idaho Falls, basically spelling out programs at Boise State. Have a good day, sir. At Boise State that she disagreed with. I think that started a fire that we've talked about for years on KIDO Talk Radio. You know, in the old days, it was funny. We would talk about schools in California or schools in Washington State having these crazy, wacky, zany liberal programs, right? Now, you have state legislators outletting programs at universities here in the state of Idaho. Conservative legislature, supermajority, conservative governor. Time to shut it down. Time to take care of this. I don't know who took the statesman off to this, but you have movement by the legislature that are taking a look at themselves and saying, look, we don't want these programs to continue. I bet you that if you put everything on a referendum, which would be a true democracy, which is not what I'm advocating, just giving you the skinny on this, most people would shoot down all of these programs that are going on at Boise State. This will be a big fight in the legislature. I don't know if it's going to be the biggest fight. I hope for the repeal of the state's reprehensible grocery tax. I mean, whether you go to Winco, Walmart, Fred Meyer, wherever, boom, 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 Albertsons, you get hit with it, right? That should be agenda number one. But I believe it's a good move that the legislature is looking at this. The legislature is saying, look, State Board of Education, you're going to have to be responsible. You're going to have to justify all these programs that are not the Idaho way. Right? From the article, when we're talking about DACA recipients, whether or not they would meet the Idaho Opportunity Scholarships eligibility and residency requirements, this is Senator Chuck Winder, very big guy in the conservative community, pro-life guy. We'll probably see him, if not Friday, from Stanton Healthcare. Sunday at 3 o'clock for the grand opening, Meridian on East Franklin Road. Quote, my read is that is likely would require legislative action based on the definitions of resident for tuition purposes, and perhaps board action as well. And an email that Senator Winder emailed to Birnbaum from the Idaho Freedom Foundation on July 11th, quote, it would require congressional action based on the lawful presence determination that may need to occur. Winder said he had no plans to raise the issue in the 2020 legislation session, but said he couldn't speak for other lawmakers. He reached out to the Attorney General for clarification because some lawmakers were not aware that immigrants classified under DACA arrivals could be eligible for scholarships, according to the Statesman. Tea Party Bob, Gem State Patriot, KIDO Talk Radio. Good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Miller. How are you this morning? Great show, by the way.
We're trying, brother. We're trying.
You know, I find that the Democratic candidates who are running for the presidential primary are more of a comedy show than serious candidates for the top job in the nation. You know, all talk about freebies that they are going to give everyone, like health care and free tuition. They never talk about how they're going to pay for it. Nobody knows how they're going to pay for it. These nut jobs, should they get in office, will bankrupt this nation and turn the economy upside down. We'll have more of the Obama-type times, an economy with 1% GDP growth, jobs leaving the country in droves, new globalization. You know, the couple who actually made any sense are successful businessmen. They don't have a Chinaman's chance in Hades of winning the primary. I only hope the American people are not stupid enough to vote for one of these jerks. The 2020 election will be the crossroads in our country's history, and the fate of America hangs in the balance. We've survived 243 years and have endured all kinds of attacks from these attacks that we get from the left to the ones that we get from outside of our country. And I believe one of the most important quotes from Abraham Lincoln is, if we falter and lose our freedom, it will be because we've destroyed ourselves. America will never be destroyed from the outside. If we falter and lose our freedoms, we will be destroyed because of our own fault. All I can say is, if you care about your freedoms, you better get out and vote in this next presidential election. On our illustrious ribbon-cutting mayor of Boise, this may, I don't know. I don't really have words for this guy. But this man has done more to hurt our capital city than help it. He spends the taxpayers' money as if it were his own personal piggy bank. He caters to every group but the ones who pay the bills. He has presided over a huge development, especially those centered on urban renewal, which the taxpayer picks up a huge portion of the tab in the downtown area, but has done nothing to solve the homeless problem in our capital city. Or does he have a plan for the growth that's going to be causing problems for years to come? There is no plan on how to pay for the infrastructure necessary to handle this huge growth. The mayor has a lot of grandiose ideas, but he has not have a plan to fix the problems he created. He wants a new library for $85 million, a new baseball stadium for $100 million plus. But again, who's going to pay the bill for their development?
Well, the people of the city of Boise.
Right, and the taxpayers of Boise. I'm not sure why anybody lives in the city anymore, because if they think their taxes are bad now, wait till they see what's going to happen in 3 to 5 years. They will not be able to afford to live there anymore. I've said that the Treasure Valley is under siege, and the Gem State will be putting out some very interesting articles on how the face of the city of trees is changing, and not for the better. We're going to be doing an expose, especially on the disassembling of Micron, which has been going on for the last year or so, and the discrimination against the older employees in favor of more liberal, younger generation people. We're going to talk about how we spend our time and money revitalizing rural towns and where we should be spending the money instead of continuing to throw money at the mess that is being created in our congested capital. As I said before, the times, they sure are changing, and I hope the people will get a good, hard look at what's been going on after we get some of these stories out in the open.
Well, you're welcome for the promo.
Thank you very much, my friend.
You're welcome.
I wouldn't know where else to go for one.
All right. Well, thank you, and God bless.
All right. Take care, my friend.
Take care. Appreciate it. Tea Party Bob, Gem State Patriot, gemstatepatriot.com. Remember, you can always get us on the KIDO Talk Radio app. That is free. You can download it. There's no charge. And there you can find out the latest updates concerning Girls with Guns. We're still collecting applications, still collecting photos of your favorite girl with her gun, thanks to Independence Indoor Shooting. Joining us now, the original Safer Money Specialist, Ron Grant. Ron, good morning.
Good morning, guys. How are we doing today?
Good to have you with us here, KIDO Talk Radio. Love having you here in the Treasure Valley. Tell us how we can keep our hard-earned money 100% safe and how people can meet you, sir.
Back in 08 and 09 when the market tanked almost 50%, my clients and I, we got a zero. And of course, a zero is always better than a loss. I got cookie baskets and thank you cards for not losing my clients any money. I let my clients, we get a reasonable range of return. We stop paying those pesky fees that we're paying to our financial planner, our stockbroker, our 401k company. I'm going to show you how to have a guaranteed lifetime income that you can't outlive. And we get to participate in some of the upside of the market. But when the market goes up, we get to go up with it. When the market drops, we stay level. So if that's pillow money, I give my clients pillow money. They sleep at night knowing that they can't lose that principal or the gains. So they can always give me a call, 208-660-1372. I'll sit down with them, need about 25 to 30 minutes, and let them know if I can help.
Looking forward to that. Of course, looking forward to hearing what you have to say this Saturday at 2.
We're going to be talking about the many problems with the 401k plans and 403b, 457, TSA. They're all kind of grouped into together, just had little different nuances. I also want to talk about a couple car shows. Tonight, we're going to have the Albertson Show and Shine on Eagle Road and State Street. I will be there, 5 o'clock. Get a chance to come on out. And then Saturday morning, Cars and Coffee at the Village in Meridian, right there from 9 to 11. So hopefully we'll see you out there and enjoy some nice iron.
Ron Grant, we appreciate you. Thank you, brother.
You have a great day.
All right, you as well. Kevin Miller, KIDO Talk Radio. Blessed to be with you. Don't forget, Dave Ramsey today, noon to 3. Sean Hannity. We love Sean. Sean's doing a great job. And, of course, we always appreciate you. And we always try to make your day better, right? That's really what it's about, to let you know that you're not alone. So many times the liberals, the progressives, do their very best to marginalize us. It's as if, really, our whole way of life has been reversed. Before President Obama, you had the gays, the homosexuals saying they were in the closet. Now it feels conservatives, Christians, people of faith are in the closet. Major corporations staying away from people of faith. We don't want to be associated with those folks, with the politics. Politics is toxic unless it's the crazy, wacky, zany libs, right? Major corporations backing progressive groups. Why? Because they want to be accepted. Why? They don't want to be subject to boycotts. Why? Because they're squeamish. That's really what it comes down to. That's why I so appreciate people that continue to support our mantle, Idaho's first radio station right here, and being on the app that continues our future of this. We've had some major investments in the property over the years, the acquisition of Sean Hannity, the app, our FM affiliate, and we continue to grow. We had a person calling in from Nevada earlier today. So back to how we can give you something memorable and really maybe not provocative, but I hope this brings a smile to your face. Here's our own Tanya J. Powers on an assault charge on KIDO Talk Radio.
A 10-year-old boy is facing an aggravated assault charge after a schoolyard game ended with an injury to his classmate. His mother, Kamishi Lindley, says the incident happened at his elementary school in Canton on April 29th. The students were playing a game like dodgeball, where a ball is thrown up in the air. During this game, another student was hit in the face with a ball, and that student's mother says her son has a medical condition that makes head injuries dangerous. A police report filed after the incident says Lindley's son intentionally threw the ball at the boy's face, leaving him with a black eye and a bruised nose. Lindley says neither she nor her son knew of the child's medical condition. Tanya J. Powers, Fox News.
Now, being a parent, don't you have enough to worry about being a parent? More on that in a minute. KIDO Talk Radio time, 8:57. Traffic and weather together. Good morning, Dave. So, again, thank goodness we live in Idaho. A 10-year-old in Michigan being charged with assault because a game of dodgeball got a little physical. And if you're just tuning in right before Glenn Beck, maybe you're tuning in for Glenn and go, oh, I got to put up with Miller for a couple minutes. So these kids are playing dodgeball or a game like it. One kid gets hit in the face. Apparently he has a condition, 10 years old, that makes getting hit in the head not a good thing for him. His mother files a police report, files a lawsuit, assault charges. If the kid had a medical condition, the kid, okay, he's 10 years old. We'll give the kid a pass. But the mama and the daddy should have made sure the teacher and everybody else kept their kid out of harm's way. Now, you can't do that all the time, but let's face it, you're really going to charge, and they did, a 10-year-old, a fifth grader with assault? That just doesn't make sense. Well, thank goodness we're surrounded by great, God-loving people here in Idaho. Appreciate you listening. Really do. Ray Amaya, outstanding job as always. Coming up, Glenn Beck, Fox News, Sean Hannity, Lars Larson. God bless everybody.